What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. Hope everybody enjoyed yesterday's vlog where I talked about the Batman and didn't spoil anything. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. But today we are going to get into the last part of my weekend, which was I got to experience AEW Revolution, which is this past Sunday's pay per view at the movies, as I did for All Out and Full Gear. Man, what an experience that was. The crowd, like the movie theater, was very live, and it was like I was at the show. They were chanting everything that the crowd was chanting. On pay per view. So it was really fun, man. Shout out to my boys Mike and Terrell, who I haven't seen in a minute. They were there along with Mike's friend. I forgot his name, man, but shout out to him. It was just a really fun night. So let's get into it, man. I'm gonna give my thoughts on each match. So starting with the buy-in. So basically the pre-show. You know, Chris Statlander took on legit Layla Hirsch. It was a great. It was an okay match. Not too bad of an opener. Continuing their feud from previous weeks. Layla Hirsch worked on the arm of Chris Statlander and eventually got her to tap out to the armbar. It was a really it wasn't, like I said, it was an okay opener. Crowd wasn't super into it, but it was cool. Then next up on the buy-in was Hook versus QT Marshall. Now Hook, I'm a really huge fan of Hook. The kid's got a hell of a future ahead of him, and obviously with Taz being his dad, he's got great backing in his corner, and he took on his original trainer QT Marshall, representing the factory. It was Hook dominated for most of the match, but he was tested at times. Looked in trouble, but Hook knew how to neutralize QT Marshall and ended up getting him to tap with the red rum, which is his version of his father's move, the Taz Mission, or the Costa Hajime, as he likes to call it. And Yeah, so that was a really good match. I thought it was fun. Hook is over like hell. Uh, so shout out to Hook. I have his T-shirt. Before the final match of the buy-in, Don Callis made his return to AEW, saying that he hopes that Adam Cole wins the world championship later on in the night, because he's going to be a really good transitional champion for when Kenny Omega comes and takes his place back at the top of the AEW mountain as the world champion. And he blamed the fans for Kenny Omega getting injured because they couldn't get enough of him, and they wanted to keep wrestling. They wanted him to keep wrestling Kenny Omega despite being injured. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the whole Adam Cole and the Young Bucks and Red Dragon, that whole dynamic when Kenny Omega does eventually return. And then after that quick segment, you had 2/3 of the Death Triangle, Pac and Penta El Oscuro, the dark version of Penta, versus the House of Black. I mean, with Eric Redbeard, I'm sorry, formerly known as Eric Rowan in WWE, and former late tag team partner of the late great Brody Lee. So it was nice to see him back in AEW and finally make his debut in a match. They went against the House of Black, which consists of Brody King, Malachi Black, and Buddy Matthews, formerly known as Buddy Murphy in WWE. Hell of an hell of a match, man. Back and forth. The House of Black ended up winning when you know Malachi Black spit the mist into Eric Redbeard's eyes, and Brody King hit him with a variation of a Mijinoku driver. So that was a really fun back and forth match. So many great spots. I love watching Pac and Aleister Black in there. I mean Malachi Black, excuse me, Aleister. I'm calling him by his WWE name. What do you call it? I love watching Pac and Malachi Black always tear the house down, and Pac and Buddy Matthews, formerly known as Buddy Murphy, man. They're gonna have some amazing matches when they finally go 1-on-1 with each other, and can't wait to see it all, man. Yeah, so that was the buy-in. So now moving over to the main card, man. Kicking off tonight with Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston. Those two went to war. Eddie Kingston ended up winning by submission, and Chris Jericho said if Eddie Kingston beats him, that he would end up shaking his hand, and but he didn't end up doing that. And what do you call it? So the crowd was clearly behind Eddie Kingston in this one, and he ended up getting the win over Chris Jericho. So it was a very big win for him, even though as Eddie Kingston is an established name. A lot of people know him, but it's still a big win anytime you get a win over somebody like Chris Jericho. And let's see. Not gonna go on. Okay, so the next match was the tag triple threat tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. You had the Young Bucks versus Red Dragon, and Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, man. What a hell of a matchup that was. Great dynamic between all three teams. I would love. I can't wait for the Young Bucks versus Red Dragon. And Lucha Express. They're a great Lucha Express. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy are great as tag team champions. I love watching them compete with each other. Compete and face each other. Jungle Boy, hell of a wrestler, hell of an athlete. And they ended up getting the win. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus retaining the World Tag Team Championships. So okay, and then next up, CM Punk versus MJF in the dog collar match. What a hell of a story that's been, man. Man. CM Punk, man, it's so good to see him back in wrestling again. He said when he first came back that on August 21st, 2005, he left professional wrestling, and August 20th, 2021, he came back, and it's so good to see him back. And MJF, man, what can I say about the man that hasn't already been said? Such a great young talent, really lives the gimmick, and hell, it's not even a gimmick because that's how he is in that's how he is in reality. I know, I've been around the guy a lot, so I know. Those two went to absolute war in the dog collar match, man. CM Punk ended up getting the win with an assist from Wardlow, who finally turned on MJF, and I can't wait to see where that goes. CM Punk hit him with the Dynamite Diamond ring that MJF wears. And what do you call it, man? It was just a bloody war, man. Those two beat the ever-loving, pun intended, dog shit out of each other, and I enjoyed every second of it, and so did the people that were with me in the theater. And okay, and speaking of Wardlow, he was in the Face of the Revolution ladder match along with Christian Cage, Keith Lee, Christian Keith Lee, a Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, and Orange Cassidy. Wardlow ended up winning the match and getting a TNT Championship title shot against Sammy Guevara or Scorpio Sky in a couple of weeks, because those two will clash next week in a TNT Championship match on Dynamite. No, this week. I'm sorry, this upcoming week, Wednesday, as I'm recording this. So tonight, they will clash in a TNT Championship match, and can't wait for that. And then Warlord will get the winner of that match in 2 weeks, I believe. Okay, so then next up was Jade, Cargill, and Tyconte for the TBS Championship. I'm not going in order here. So that was a really good match, actually. Jade Cargill came out as Jade from Mortal Kombat, and boy, she was looking hella fine tonight. And Tyconte as usual, accompanied by Anna Jay. Tyconte really tested Jade Cargill in this match, man. There were times where maybe you thought, Tyconte would get the win, but ultimately Jade Cargill ended up pulling out the victory and retaining the TBS Championship and staying undefeated. She is at 27-0, so good for her. Okay, then, speaking of the women tearing it up again, Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker, another great match. Although I could have done without the interference with between Rebel and Jamie Hayter. I believe that Britt is good enough to beat her clean, but still a great match. Good dynamic between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. Wasn't as good as their lights out match, but it was still an unbelievable match. And Britt ended up getting the win due to interference from Rebel and Jamie Hayter. So what else? What else do we got? Oh, Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley, man. Holy crap! What a war that was, man. Those two said they were gonna go to war, and by God, they did. Jon Moxley ended up getting the win over Bryan Danielson after a very smart roll-up counter when Bryan Danielson refused to relinquish a submission that he had Jon Moxley in. Jon just rolled him up and got the pin over him. After that, a very surprising appearance by William Regal came out and slapped both Jon Moxley and Daniel Bryan and forced them to kind of shake hands after that match. And so I can't wait to see where that storyline goes. Now that you have William Regal in the mix, it's gonna be awesome. And speaking of new signings, man, it was made official at AEW Revolution that Shane Swerve Strickland is now part of AEW, man. I can't wait to see what he does. It is definitely gonna be Swerve's house. I'm a huge fan of Shane Strickland. Always have been. Can't wait to see him and Darby mix it up, man. And speaking of Darby, that 6-man tornado tag match with Darby and Sting and Darby Allin, Sting, and Sammy Guevara going up against Andrade El Idolo, Isaiah Cassidy, and Matt Hardy of the HFO, the Andrade Hardy Family Office. Say that 3 times fast. Boy, what a wild match that was, man. Sammy Guevara did a Spanish fly off the Revolution set through a table. Sting jumping through 2 tables. and splashing on top of Andrade. Man, it was whew, what a wild one that was. The Butcher and the Blade and the rest of the AHFO getting involved. But Darby Sting and Sammy managed to pull out the win on that one. Sting is still jumping through tables at what is he? What is he? 55 now? 56? Boy, hey, um, props to him, man, for doing a spot like that and entertaining everybody, man. Shout out to Sting. Man, I can't. That was nuts. It was a great thing to see Sting, man. Still doing his thing at that age. And finally, in the main event, Battle of the Atoms, man. Adam Cole versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World Championship. After a great back and forth match, classic, I would go as far to say. Adam Page ended up retaining the AEW World Championship, and man, just an overall great pay per view, man. Another solid pay per view. Not a bad match on the card, top to bottom. AEW always delivers, and this is not me being an AEW mark, man. I just love good professional wrestling, and AEW delivers every time. So I can't wait for Double or Nothing in May. And with that, that is gonna do it for today's vlog. So subscribe, share, so you don't miss a video. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.